Hi, this is Chad from Attuned, and today I want to talk about why employee retention starts with the interview process. The decision to leave a company is an emotional one. Usually it's not a throw your toys out of the pram type decision, but rather a series of emotional experiences of varying depth that build up to take someone over an unseen tipping point. Then they quit. There are a lot of unseen forces keeping people in their jobs. And these include personal identity, commitment bias, confrontation avoidance, inertia, and habit. Each of these can be a very significant psychological magnet in its own right. For example, people tend to receive a deep sense of their personal identity from the work that they do. In order to quit, people may have to go against their own image of who they are as a person, and that's hard. Similarly, if people worked hard to get a job because it becomes a lot more difficult for them to leave because of commitment bias. And yet, people leave jobs all of the time. Of course, companies want to keep talented people, and they have spent a lot of time, effort, and money to hire those people. But the problem is they usually attack the problem at the end, not at the beginning. They try to fix some of the negative emotions that build up, and that is usually a case of too little, too late. So we have to understand the importance of relationships. Too many companies try to keep their employees happy through hygiene factors like improved pay, nice coffee, and lots of perks. But those don't solve and they don't prevent that negative emotional buildup that actually causes people to leave jobs. Actually, it's frequently bad interpersonal relationships, primarily with their managers, that drive people to quit those jobs. In the US, up to 57% of employees leave because of the relationship with their manager. It's actually the number one reason that people give for leaving their jobs. So what's the solution? Well, in short, the intervention needs to happen earlier. In fact, it should start way upstream at the hiring stage, long before negative emotions have the chance to build up. The way that companies currently construct their interview processes are too often failing them. Interview processes often evolve organically over time with too many fallacies that unwittingly get baked in. There's often a desire within companies to have many voices in the interview process, but are all voices equal in deciding a hire? Is everyone evaluating on the same criteria? And who should own that hire? And of course, there are also biases that get into that process. So interviews are important, but the majority of interview processes today miss out on the most important factor in people resigning, the match between the manager and the new hire. And also the next most important factor, the match between the new hire and their team. Assuming we're trying to hire more diversely and not just hire people who are like us, we can't rely on easy rapport and shared culture as deciding factors. Instead, we need a better tool to help us figure out one of the most important elements needed to ensure long-term retention. That comes down to value matching, and one of the core reasons why we created Attuned was to understand people's unseen values at work. Attuned's superpower lies in its ability to show a person's values compared to someone else, as well as common values with the team. In other words, before a new hire joins, you can see where there could be friction between a new manager and their hire, or the new hire and their team. More than behavior, more than personality, it's a clash caused when two people have very different value hierarchies that is most often the root cause of this deep dissatisfaction, and the source of the emotional buildup that prompts someone to quit a boss and a company. We're solving this at Attuned. During the interview process, companies now have access to a tool that allows them to have an open discussion about potential gaps in motivations. And before a new hire joins, it also creates a space to have honest, inclusive conversations about areas that are likely to create friction in their relationship with their manager. Discussions such as these form the basis of a trusting relationship from the very start, and that in turn leads to more hires staying more motivated for longer, which boosts retention. Attuned helps to build deep trust by giving insights that spur meaningful conversations from the very beginning of a work relationship. I hope this has been helpful today. If you're interested in talking to us about how you can start building this trust at the hiring stage, please reach out. Thanks.